Hi everyone. Good evening. Merhaba arkadaşlar. Herkese iyi akşamlar. This is our next live class on the grammar topics in Turkish language. And today we will continue our videos, our series on the grammar topics, which is the topic of today's kind of session is the reported past tense of the future tense. Again, just to repeat, this is the series of the grammar lessons, okay? Because I also have a series of the other types of videos on the random topics, but this is the series continuing with the grammar topics, and we have basically covered so far what in terms of this tenses. So far, let me show this picture, this PDF file, which you probably know from the previous classes, and which is also shared in the Telegram channel, our Telegram channel. So far we have covered these parts, okay, that I highlight here. We have covered almost 20, right, more than 20 I think, tenses or tense structures, and we are on this part, right? We are right now covering the imiş part, or the auxiliary verb imiş. The combinations, right, reported past tense combinations, and we have covered already 3 of this. The first 3 geniş zaman rivayeti, right? Şimdiki zaman, or let's say in English, reported past tense of the present tense, reported past tense of the present continuous tense, reported past tense of the reported past tense. That was our last class, and today we will be covering this one, reported past tense of the future tense, okay? So that's basically where we stand in terms of the big picture. Merhaba Ujin, merhaba Meryem, welcome to the class. Happy to see you. I was actually sick for around 10 days. I don't know whether it was COVID or not, but I have recovered, so it's in the past. But I was really sick. That's why I didn't have a chance to have a live lesson. So this is just a resumption of these classes, okay? So this is where we stand in terms of the big picture, okay? We are covering reported past tense of the future tense, where we are adding what? İmiş structure, right? İmiş, which is basically the reported past tense structure as an auxiliary verb, to the acak, right? Acak format. You can consider this as a past future tense, right? Past future tense. But because in Turkish language we have two types of the past tense, which is one is the reported, and one is regular past, right? Simple past tense. So in this kind of format we are covering the past tense of the future, but in the reported format. Okay. Teşekkürler Ujin. Geçmiş olsun, by the way, is the way we express what that you wish person to, that this is a past, okay? This is a past event for you. Geçmiş means what? It's a past, right? Geçmiş olsun. Olsun actually means you are yapsın, gitsin, right? Yapsın, otursun, versin, görsün. So olsun here means olmak. It comes from the verb to be, olmak. So olsun means let it be. Let it be a past event, right? So geçmiş olsun means actually let it be a past, something past for you. So your sickness, your illness, your bad news, right? Whatever, it might be anything. So geçmiş olsun is a very broad expression that you tell people if they are sick, if they lost somebody, right? If they lost somebody, of course, if somebody dies, of course, geçmiş olsun is a kind of abnormal. You will say başın sağ olsun, right? Allah rahmet eylesin. That's that kind of thing. But geçmiş olsun, it's usually said for the sicknesses and illnesses. It's a wish that is really a past, okay? That it stays in the past. That's basically what the wish says. Okay, let's go back to our class. So let me just first, before we start with our grammar structure, okay, let me go to our workpad and first talk about what the reported past tense meaning. You already know, some of you already know the reported past tense meaning, right? It has basically 2 meanings. It has, the first meaning is reportedly, right? And there was another commenter under some of the videos who also kind of said supposedly, right? Supposedly is also another meaning of the kind of this tense, reported or supposedly. And the second meaning of this tense or the kind of reported past tense is it turns out, right? It turns out. So it can be translated in these two forms, reported or supposedly, or as it turns out. So let's see how we construct it. Let's see first the grammar structure. Okay, let me change the screen. Okay, so this is our PDF file. So as a regular, we will first go over the affirmative, negative, interrogative, and the negative forms of this structure. Okay, so this is the affirmative one. Affirmative structure, which basically is a normal sentence, right, without negativity, anything, or without any question. So what do you do? What is the rule? The verb is, first you have the verb root, right? Verb root plus ajak or ejek. That's why we have ajak over 2 here, ajak ejek, and then we have to add this imiş structure together with the personal ending, right? To get what? To get ultimately these verbs. You see on the right side, not the left side. The left side is incomplete. I just put it there separately for you to see how we add this yapacak and then imişim, right? And then we have, of course, to combine all of this to make this single word. So we have two verbs here, yapmak and gitmek, right, as always in our examples. So let's go over the persons. Ben yapacakmışım. You see, yapacak, imişim. It is transferred. These vowels, soft vowels e become ı here. Okay, when we combine everything. So ben yapacakmışım. Sen yapacakmışsın. O yapacakmış. Biz yapacakmışız. Siz yapacakmışsınız. And onlar yapacaklarmış or yapacakmışlar. But yapacaklarmış is more utilized. I can directly tell you that this is a more utilized way, kind of a more frequent way to say, okay? Yapacaklarmış rather than yapacakmışlar. So for the verb gitmek, pay attention that this T here, right, in te, it is transformed into de for easier pronunciation. That's a kind of a exception, but it's a rare exception, by the way. Don't change too many consonants for this purpose. But specifically in the verb gitmek, that te, right, the letter te is transformed into de. Just a side note. So ben gidecekmişim. Sen gidecekmişsin. O gidecekmiş. Biz gidecekmişiz. Siz gidecekmişsiniz. And onlar gideceklermiş. Or gidecekmişler. Now pay attention, here we have ecek, right? In all of this we have ecek. In the first part we have acak, because yapmak is a verb with hard consonants, with hard vowels, and gitmek is a verb with the soft vowels. Therefore, in the first one we choose acak, and in the second one we choose ecek, right? Gidecekmişim. That is the affirmative, okay? This is the affirmative. Let's now look at the negative. In the negative, we add ma or me as a negative kind of a structure, right? So verb root, then ma over 2, which means ma or me. And then again, because of this ma and me, we have only 2 again, acak ecek, okay? Acak ecek, only acak or ecek. And then you again, imiş plus personal ending. So here, the only thing that changes is this negative side, which is ma, me. So for ben, for first person singular, will be what? Ben yapmayacakmışım. Sen yapmayacakmışsın. O yapmayacakmış. Biz yapmayacakmışız. Siz yapmayacakmışsınız. And onlar yapmayacaklarmış. Okay? For gitmek, it will be gitmeyecekmişim. Sen gitmeyecekmişsin. O gitmeyecekmiş. Biz gitmeyecekmişiz. Siz gitmeyecekmişsiniz. And onlar gitmeyeceklermiş. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so the only thing that changes here, you see, is ma, me. Two side notes. this ma, me are capital just for distinction purposes, okay? They are not written in capital format in regular language, okay? I'm just distinguishing here for clarity purposes, so they are capital for clarity purposes only. They are not written capital, they are not spelled capitally, okay, in capital letters when you write them. And second, always pay attention that whenever you make something negative, the verb's negative, the emphasis is always on the first syllables, okay? You see, in here, for example, in the affirmative, you say what? Yapacakmışım, right? Yapacakmışım. The stress is on acak here. Yapacakmışım. But when you say negative, now it becomes yapmayacakmışım, okay? Yapmayacakmışım. By the way, it's valid for all the tenses, okay? It's valid for all tenses. Negative, when you add negative ma, me in Turkish language, the stress, the emphasis shifts to the first part, okay, to the root of the verb. So it can be for all tenses, for all persons, it doesn't matter. Yapacağım, yapmayacağım. Gideceğim, gitmeyeceğim. Okay? Or yaptım, yapmadım. Gittim, gitmedim. Okay? For the reported past tense, yapmışım, yapmamışım. Gitmişim, gitmemişim. So you see how the emphasis shifts from whenever you make something negative, the emphasis immediately shifts to the first part, which means the verb root. Many people ignore this. Many people don't catch it immediately. But that's basically, and by the way, that's very important because some words may have same spelling, okay, but the emphasis is different because of this. So same structure, same spelling, but emphasis is different. So specifically for negative structure in Turkish language, we emphasize the root, verb root, okay? When we say ma, me, gitmiyorum, right? Gidiyorum, gitmiyorum. Yapıyorum, yapmıyorum. Or yapmalısın, yapmamalısın. Gitmelisin, gitmemelisin. You see how the stress emphasis shifts to the verb root on the negative. The next, so let's continue with the interrogative now. So we covered affirmative, negative. Let's now look at the interrogative. In the interrogative, we have to combine this question word me, right? By the way, this is the rule. You have verb root, then you have acak, ejek, which is acak over 2, and because of this acak over 2, you have m over 2, okay? It's only m or me. You don't have mu or mu here. So what will be then? You have imiş and personal ending. So for the yapacak, to what? Yapacak mıymışım. You also add here what? The buffer letter y or the fusion letter y in between. Yapacak mıymışım. It's a question, okay? It's a question mark. Interrogative. Yapacak mıymışım? Sen yapacak mıymışsın? O yapacak mıymış? Biz yapacak mıymışız? Siz yapacak mıymışsınız? And onlar yapacaklar mıymış? Okay? Yapacak mıymışlar or yapacaklar mıymış? For gitmek, it will be ben gidecek miymişim? Okay? Sen gidecek miymişsin? O gidecek miymiş? Biz gidecek miymişiz? Siz gidecek miymişsiniz? And onlar gidecekler miymiş? Okay? Gidecekler miymiş? For the, and again, don't forget, as a side note, you have a side note here, right, at the bottom. All question words, mı, mi, mu, mu, right, in Turkish language are written separately from the verbs. Don't forget this. It's a rule. It's a very strict rule. You will never see them together. If it's written together, combined, that's a mistake, okay? Question words, mı, mi, mu, mu, they always are written separately from the root, so from the verb, but they are together with the personal endings, okay? They are combined with the personal endings, including the structure and mış structure. So let's look now at the negative interrogative. Negative interrogative is the last that we are covering. So we have what? Verb root, then ma, me structure, then acak, ejek, just two, right? And then mı, mi. You see, ma, me, acak, ejek, mı, mi. There are only two possible options. Ma requires acak, acak requires mı. Me requires ejek, and ejek requires mi. You see, There are only two possible versions here. Let's see the examples. So ben yapmayacakmışım. You see again stress is on the negative, on the verb, on the root, right? On the verb root. Ben yapmayacakmışım. Sen yapmayacakmışsın. O yapmayacakmış. Biz yapmayacakmışız. Siz, let me just zoom in. Okay, a bit zoom in. So biz yapmayacakmışız. Siz yapmayacakmışsınız. And onlar yapmayacaklarmış or yapmayacakmışlar. Okay. For gitmek, it will be ben gitmeyecekmişim. Sen gitmeyecekmişsin. O gitmeyecekmiş. Biz gitmeyecekmişiz. Siz gitmeyecekmişsiniz. And onlar gitmeyeceklermiş or gitmeyecekmişler. Okay, so this is the structure. So let me just again review. So let's go from the beginning. This is affirmative, just to put it on the screen. Second one is negative. Third is interrogative. And fourth is negative interrogative. This is the grammar structure for how you make the reported past tense of the future tense for all persons. Okay, affirmative, negative, interrogative, and negative interrogative. Now let's go to our work pad again back here. Okay, and see examples of the first person. As always, I have this always examples for the first person singular, right, over a couple of verbs. So again, don't forget this is just first person singular I, okay, which means ben. You may do it the same thing for the second person singular and so on, but these are examples only for ben, for first person singular. So to sit, which means to reside or to sit, right? Oturmak means reside or sit. Oturacakmışım, ben okuyacakmışım. For okumak it will be okuyacakmışım, right? Sevmek will be sevecekmişim. Görmek will be görecekmişim. Vermek will be verecekmişim. So you see, there are only acak or ecek. And by the way, when you have verbs root ending in verb root ending in vowel, you also have this fusion letter y in between. Okay, just for you to see it. That's the only kind of additional. Okay, so basically it's acak or ecek. Or you can also consider as yacak, yiyecek, together with the letter y. Let's look at the negative. Negative is what? Oturmak will be oturmayacakmışım. Okumak will be okumayacakmışım. Sevmek will be sevmeyecekmişim. Görmek will be görmeyecekmişim. And vermek will be vermeyecekmişim. Now consider this y. Why do we have y here as a fusion letter always? Because why? Because ma, me ends in a vowel and acak, ecek starts in a vowel. Therefore, in all of these cases, you will have this fusion letter y in between. Okay, so there is no kind of exception because it's always like that. Because all the negative structures are ending in vowel, ma or me, and all the acak, ecek start with the vowel. Okay, that's why we have this y in between as a fusion letter, as a stable fixed and no exception case. For the interrogative, okay, we have what? Oturmak will be oturacakmışım. Okumak will be okuyacakmışım. Sevmek will be sevecekmişim. Görmek will be görecekmişim. And vermek will be verecekmişim. Again, acak, ecek, and just my or me, you see? That simple. For the interrogative, negative interrogative, let's bring it up. You will have what? Oturmayacakmışım. You see, the stress is again on the first part, which is verb root. Oturmayacakmışım. For okumak, okumayacakmışım. For sevmek, sevmeyecekmişim. For görmek, görmeyecekmişim. And vermek will be vermeyecekmişim. So these four are of course of what? Examples for the first person singular, right? Don't forget. Let me just bring it up here. Okay, not enough space. Let me just kind of bring it cut here. Okay. Okay, so this is basically still not enough place. All right. Anyway, let me just keep it like this. So this is basically for what? For first person singular. So if you want to make it second person singular, you will change everything here, okay? Oturacakmışsın, okuyacakmışsın, right? And sevecekmişsin, görecekmişsin, and so on. And then in negative, and so on and so on. So this is just examples for the first person singular, because we use usually something about ourselves, right? So just the example for first person singular. And I also have 3 examples here, very short examples. So for example, look at this sentence. Beni öldüreceklermiş. Now I also add this kind of a translation supposedly in the parentheses from now on. But also let me mention one thing about this reported past tense of the future tense. Okay. Now of course it means reportedly, supposedly, are or were going to kill. Now you see, we would talk about the were going usually. In the previous kind of a classes, we were talking about were, right? Were doing, or did in the past, right? Here I add specifically are as well, because it also means something in the present tense. Okay, because you learn, for example, especially when you talk about the second sentence, right? When you translate it as it turns out doesn't necessarily have to mean in the past. It can also the present, right? Mean the present. So for example, you observe, you hear something from somebody, and that fact is still a present fact, okay? That they are going to kill me, or they were going to kill me. Okay? It turns out they are going to kill me. So you can use this tense in Turkish language to mean the present condition, to mean something that you, even if it was something in the past, okay? It can be also in the past, action in the past, which can mean really mean we're going to kill. Okay, we're going to kill is still possible here. It's okay to have that, but it also can mean what? Are going to kill me, or are, it turns out they are going to kill me. So it doesn't necessarily have to have this. So it has to have. It doesn't have to have this kind of a past tense meaning. It can also just mean in the present. Okay. So that it turns out they are going to kill me. Beni öldüreceklermiş. Okay. Or it can also mean that you learned from somebody that they are going to kill me. Okay. Or that they're going to kill you. Or you can learn from somebody that they really came, for example, to your office, right? They didn't find you, and your friend tells you that they were going to kill you actually. Okay. So, and you learn it from your friend. That's why it's reported. Okay. Hi, Andreas. That's fine. It's at least we have recorded, right, everything, so no worries. Second example, eve gelmeyecekmiş. Okay, so you learn, for example, or for example, your husband, your spouse, right? It might be husband or wife, it doesn't matter. So your spouse tells the children that, for example, the father will not come today. Okay, so your father calls, let's say, your mother, right, and tells her that he will not come home. Okay, he will not come today. He will not come home today. Now, when your mother reports to you as a children, right, then she can use this. Babanız bugün eve gelmeyecekmiş. Okay, it turns out your father is not going to come home. You see, here it doesn't have to be past tense, but it can also mean the past tense in different contexts. But in this context, if your mom tells you that your father called her and told that he will not be coming home today, okay, this is exactly how you can use it. Eve gelmeyen babanız, right, your father, babanız bugün, today, is not going to come. It turns out, okay, he is not going to come. So that's, again, I put so many kind of structures here. I put reportedly, supposedly meaning, I put is, was meaning, right? I put it turns out meaning, and again, is, was. Okay, don't confuse. They can all be used using this tense, okay? And especially in the third example, look at the third example. This is the case where you can really use it very efficiently, this tense very efficiently. For example, imagine you go to the bank, okay? Imagine you go to the bank and you don't know which cashier you have to go to, okay, which cashier you have to pay. And some they send you to the cashier, for example. They prepare your documents. Now you have to pay for something, right? And they send you to a specific window. So you don't know which window you have to go. And then when they refer you, let's say go to the third window, okay, to the third window, and you go to that person, you can say parayı size verecekmişiz or parayı size verecekmişim. So it turns out that I have to give money to you, okay? I am going to give money to you. You see, verecekmişiz or verecekmişim here is the past of the future tense, right? How it becomes past of the future tense? Probably the person sitting with the documents, right, doing something with the documents, told you what? You will pay the money to that person. So that's how it became future tense. Okay, you are going to pay the money to that person. And that's how you come to that person, say parayı size verecekmişim. Size, of course, it's a formal, right? Not sana. Sana is kind of a you, it's informal. So for formal purposes, you would say size. Parayı size verecekmişim. It turns out I have to give money to you. Okay, I will give money to you. I will giving money to you. I am going to give money to you. So that's basically where you can use this tense. For example, if your father tells you, for example, that you should not allow your sibling to go out. Okay, imagine your parents are out, they're not at home, and they tell you you are an older sibling, right? And they tell you that you should not go out. So don't allow your sibling to go out. Okay. So when your sibling awakes, for example, from the sleep, and if he or she wants to go out, you can say, for example, dışarı çıkmayacakmışsın. Okay. So they told me that you should not go out. Dışarı çıkmayacakmışsın. Where it comes from the parents. So parents told me that he will not go out. Okay. He should not or will not go out. That's where it comes. The future part comes from. The future part. So when you tell your sibling, bugün dışarı çıkmayacakmışsın, it means you report something from your parents that they don't allow you to go out. Okay, so you will not go out. Why it is reported? Because it's not me saying, it's the parents telling me. Okay, that's why it becomes mış. You see? So it doesn't have to do anything about the past tense here. It basically means I report something from my parents, right? From the parents that I have to report to you that you are not going to go out today. Okay? Bugün dışarı çıkmayacakmışsın. Okay? So parents told me that you are not going to get. Let me just write that sentence as well. Okay, for you. Bugün dışarı çıkmayacakmışsın. Oh my god, my keyboard is just. Bugün dışarı çıkmayacakmışsın. So this is negative. Let me make it capital. Okay, çıkmak is to go out, right? Çıkmayacaksın is you will not go out. Çıkmayacakmışsın is what I report to you, based on what parents told me. Okay, the parents told me that you should not go out. You will not go out today. So that's what you report to your sibling. Bugün dışarı çıkmayacakmışsın. Kim dedi? Kim söyledi? Annem. Annem öyle söyledi. Okay? You say not söylemiş, söyledi, because your mom told you, or you observed. It's not reported. Annem söyledi. Bugün dışarı çıkmayacakmışsın. Kim söyledi? Annem. Okay? So don't forget, it doesn't necessarily have to be related to the past tense. You can report something that happened before you, yes, before that action, before that point in time, yes. That is why it's past. But the meaning can be still be present. Okay? And it can also really mean some action that happened in the past. That's why we have what? That's why we have this were going, right? Was not going to come, were going to give, were going to kill. That's also possible as an action that happened in the past, which is reported to you by somebody else, which is also possible. Okay, that's it. Söylememiş. Söylememiş is reportedly didn't say yes. But yeah, if for example your sibling would say or oppose you, right? Oppose you and say hayır, öyle bir şey söylememiş, then it will be possible, yes. But it is just what? It is just the negative of the reported past tense, okay? Söylemiş, söylememiş. Söyledi, söylemedi. Two types of the past tense in Turkish, right? So I'm done with today's class. Any questions? Anything unclear about today's? By the way, if you like the video, please push that like button. It really helps the channel. I will really appreciate your like button. Push. Anything? No? If not, then I'll see you hopefully in the following classes, and in the following classes we'll be covering what? We will be covering the reported past tense of the necessitative mood, which will be what? Yapmalıymış, right? Gitmeliymiş, görmeliymiş, vermeliymiş, oturmalıymış, and so on. So we will be adding ımış, imiş, right, structure to the malı meli, which is necessitative mood, in the next class, in the next grammar class. Thank you, Eugene. Thank you, everyone who joined. Enjoy the rest of the day. See you in the next classes. Bye bye. Herkese iyi akşamlar arkadaşlar. Görüşmek üzere.